5, 6, 7, 8.
We're back here on the Savage Says podcast. I'm Caitlyn.
And I'm Kelly. Hello, welcome to our new drop on Thursdays.
Whoop whoop, Thursdays for the win. I just feel so much better about it. I don't know about you. It just, I know the Wednesday was a nice like midweek mic drop, but the Thursday, I just feel like so many other podcasts drop on Wednesdays that like we can't just be like other girls, you know?
I don't know because I don't listen to anyone else's podcast. Sometimes I don't even listen to this one, but that makes sense. And Thursday I think is just generally like a good day because you're feeling close to the weekend, and it's like Thursday could be kind of fun. It also could make the week feel like, oh my God, this week will never end. But generally speaking, I have a good day on Thursdays.
Totally. I feel like me too. I'm always in good spirits on Thursdays. So this feels right. So welcome to our second ever Thursday episode. We have a lot to cover about a lot of random stuff. So as opposed to last week, which was very topical, we're just going to kind of shoot it up. Oh my God. Ew.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is topic number 1, and it is pollen is here.
Season.
Spring has sprung, and I know we said that like 2 weeks ago when we felt like spring had sprung, but then it got cold again, and today is actually the first day of spring. Not to give away what day we're recording, but it came a day early this year, and I think we're all feeling it. Winter temperatures are still out and about in most places.
Yeah.
And the pollen is flying, hence my sneeze, so excuse me.
Yeah, Kelly was all wigged out at lunch that there were bugs flying around us. But I think it really was just like fuzzy pollen.
But I never saw pollen fly in Florida. Do you think it's because it's too humid out and it can't like fly in the air?
Right, there's no wind.
It's too thick to get through?
Maybe. I don't know.
Let us know. If we have any pollen experts, meteorologists listening, would love to know your takes about pollen. But this is, I think, a kind of turning point of the calendar year where things start to get brighter, a little warmer. Some of my favorite colors are out and about on display. Pinks, turquoise, purples, yellows. I was just in Publix, and the selections for candy and Easter baskets are out, which had me excited. So besides the pollen and what it is doing to our allergies, excited for spring.
Yeah, this week's treat of the week, actually, which is not officially a thing on this podcast, but it is, I'm determining it as such, peanut butter M&M eggs. Kind of like a twist on Cadbury eggs, except there's peanut butter in them and they're M&Ms, so. And
they're really delicious.
They're so good, and such cute colors.
Such cute colors. All the colors I just mentioned, really. I used to be really into like Reese's peanut butter cups.
Yeah. And
for some reason in my old age, I've started to get away from them. But this kind of like scratches that itch.
Yeah.
With a little crunch to it as well.
Peanut butter chocolate flavor. Do you remember that commercial?
No. What was that?
Oh my gosh, that was all over Nickelodeon, which is
perfect segue.
But it was a Reese's Puff commercial for the cereal.
Oh.
Like, Reese's Puff. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
Well, I have a formative memory of like wanting to buy Reese's Puffs at the grocery store, and asking mom, and she was like, no, that's trash. And she wasn't like a health nut or anything.
I was gonna say, that doesn't sound like characteristic of her. I feel like she was always like, okay. Right. I had Sunny D every morning.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. She didn't have like many limits on like food and what was like bad or unhealthy, but the Reese's Puffs is where she drew the line. Lucky Charms were fine. But Reese's Puffs were a hard no.
More whole grains, I guess. That's really funny.
So back to Nickelodeon. We don't even think we knew that we were watching it like maybe the day it debuted, but we watched the new documentary on the child stars of Nickelodeon called Quiet on the Set, and it featured prominent Nickelodeon producer Dan Schneider, and he was a showrunner there, responsible for all the hits you probably know. All That, The Amanda Show, what else? Drake and Josh, iCarly.
Later, Victorious, Sam and Cat.
Zoe 101.
Yeah.
Like literally any good Nickelodeon show this
Yeah.
man created. So
Yeah.
he's definitely got something up there. The first few episodes pretty much revealed him to be kind of like a nightmare boss,
Right.
mostly to the adults he was working with. But then later it definitely got into some like way higher level spooky shit and like trigger warning child sexual abuse coming forward.
Yeah.
I don't want to reveal too much for
Yeah.
any kiddies who may be wanting to watch the documentary.
Right.
But I think we were kind of shook when they revealed like the pretty much number one whistleblower slash victim in this situation, which, to clear the record, it's not Dan Schneider who
Right.
is accused or convicted of child sexual assault, but
Right.
he's, you know, involved in this ecosystem. And it really just highlighted a lot of Nickelodeon stars that you know and probably loved, talking about kind of the dark underbelly that was children's TV and probably still is.
Yes, and it was really, really well done.
Yeah.
We said this before we started watching it, and I remember like when this was kind of circulating on TikTok, the trailer being like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be legitimate or just kind of like a lot of speculation and just kind of like drawing from assumption and not really that like credibly sourced. But I would argue otherwise for sure. They had, especially from like that one victim you were describing. Yeah, like it's some crazy stuff. It's whack.
It's crazy, and it's people are coming with receipts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's not just a we heard through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Here, these were the whispers you've already heard. We're going to repeat them now for you in a 4-part docuseries. It is definitely like new information, information that has been kept secret for decades.
Yes, this was like the first time this specific victim has spoken out in 2 decades or something. And yeah, they came to expose with those receipts.
Yeah. And we also watched Dan Schneider's response video, which he published on his own YouTube channel last night. And we were really like right on the timing with it all. And it was kind of whack. Like, he just apologizes, quite honestly, like, and just says,
He didn't deny anything.
He didn't deny any of it. He said, you know, I wish I was a better boss. I wish I had known how people felt at the time. And part of it, I think, is that they really focus on like this culture of fear that he created. And that's what he says. Like, I didn't know because no one told me, but like, I can see how that was my fault.
Right.
So
yeah, it was the like, but if you're familiar with iCarly, there's a recurring character named T-Bone, who's like a series regular. And I was like, we pull up the interview. It's like a 20-minute long YouTube video. And I was like, he looks so familiar, the guy interviewing Dan Schneider. And I was like, who is this? And I was like, oh my God, it's T-Bone. Like, it was like so meta because it's like, wait a minute, this is another guy from the Dan
iCarly
Schneider, like,
world.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was just so crazy. I'm like,
Well,
what?
I mean, it's not that crazy. Like, Dan Schneider obviously like tapped a friend to be like, hey, can you facilitate this like softball response of mine, Q&A, as if T-Bone is like a hard-hitting reporter,
right?
You know,
right.
But like, he probably is on Dan Schneider's payroll. But
right,
totally. I mean, I appreciated the apology and like the acknowledgement of all of this. He didn't deny virtually any of it.
Yeah.
Other than to set the record very clear that like he did not know about the sexual abuse going on, and that he did offer some behind the scenes assistance to that family.
Yeah.
That people don't necessarily know about because it wasn't his business to share.
Right.
Which I appreciate. So like, honestly, like no harm, no foul, I guess. But like, what else is he supposed to do at this point?
Right.
Besides apologize.
I think his response, he did all that he could do. And I think in a manner that could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't bad, wasn't good. Like, all the points that are brought up in the docuseries of like Dan kind of being creepy and like the jokes he writing were inappropriate and like just like this kind of underlaying
he's a weirdo thing.
Yeah, of like this all was just kind of messed up and like weird, and plus he was like a nightmare to work with. And yeah, was very interesting.
Right. So one of the, I think, most notable things he says in this kind of apology video is like, I didn't greenlight all this myself.
Yeah.
Like all these Nickelodeon executives, all these other producers, all these other writers, like wrote these scripts, approved these scripts, saw the videos,
Right.
put them on television. Like maybe like they're inflating his sense of authority over there as like a one-man band.
Right.
And I can appreciate that from his perspective of like, okay, if you guys thought like what we were putting on TV was creepy or bad or wrong,
Right.
there were a million people that had to approve this
Right.
before it went to air.
Which I don't doubt at all. That's kind of like just like how entertainment and TV works.
Right.
So definitely point there. I think though, and what they also highlight is just kind of like this fear factor of it all. Like Dan was scary.
On air dares. Oh. Oh.
Well, that too.
Yeah,
but
they were running like a children's fear factor element to the all that
Was
what
it like
called?
a part of the episode, or was it like the all that cast would?
No, like so when they rebooted all that in like the mid 2000s, what they were explaining is they had an on-air dare segment within
Okay.
all that,
Okay.
where the cast members had to do some sort of on-air dare a la Fear Factor.
Right.
The problem was they were children,
Right.
so like they could only do so many things, and
Right.
what some of the cast members that you hear from say is like that was the most uncomfortable part.
Yeah.
Like feeling like we could not object to being covered in peanut butter and licked by dogs.
Right.
Or being submerged in a bathtub full of worms. Because like if I complain, now I'm difficult, now they're not going to cast me on any more episodes, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. So I took what you just said about Fear Factor and ran. You meant like the factor of him being scary.
Yeah.
But
Literally.
but literally they were like one of the worst parts that he like authorized and was his idea was this on-air dare stuff,
Right.
which like possible like light child abuse.
Right, for sure. So it wasn't necessarily, we didn't learn that Dan Schneider is a predator, perhaps, but he was just kind of like an ignorant man running this children television empire, essentially.
Yeah.
And so that was just all of that side was very interesting, and then it got way deeper than and like crazier than I definitely could have anticipated. I didn't even know this other layer was going to be like discussed or even existed.
No, me neither. So would you recommend to a friend?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's very buzzy right now. I open TikTok and like it's the first thing that comes up is like clips or reaction videos
Right.
and
Probably
stuff.
because they heard us watching.
Probably. But I'm really glad that we watched it early on
Yeah.
and that I wasn't subjected to any spoilers personally, but definitely recommend watching.
And where was it? HBO, I think, right?
HBO Max.
HBO
yeah.
Max. All right. So that was our programming of the week. We would recommend. Other programming that's been going on that I was like totally oblivious to, but now I've caught up on a little bit is where is Kate Middleton?
Yeah. Where TF is Kate?
Where is she? Where is Carmen Sandiego to figure out where Kate Middleton is? I don't know what I believe, and ultimately I have no information to share, so like I don't want to spend too much time on this because we were just hating on like documentaries that say a lot of nothing,
Just speculate.
which is just what we're doing here about this. But there's been the rumor that she has been hospitalized for an eating disorder. There's the rumor that she's pregnant outside of her marriage. There was the rumor that Prince William got someone else pregnant outside of their marriage. Obviously, the palace is putting forth that she had abdominal surgery and therefore cannot be shown or like do anything for several months. As someone who had abdominal surgery this time last year, actually a week ago last year.
Oh my God, time flies. I didn't realize that was
right?
a year ago.
Yeah, it was St. Patrick's Day. And for those who were like, excuse me, what? I had to get my gallbladder out.
She's a warrior.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much like the youngest person in the world to have gotten their gallbladder out. But actually, no, I know a friend who had it out before. Anyway, yeah, it wasn't great, but like I certainly could have made public appearances within like a month.
Yeah. Certainly. It was
And maybe she had something much more significant, but like you'd think they would just like wheel her outside and from the balcony to give a little wave like
Right.
I'm alive, they haven't killed me,
right.
just to reassure the public.
Yeah, like the kind of like cold turkey going away very like just vanishing and thin air, and then like all of this speculation and is like, where is she okay, and like all that comes out is a written statement about how she used Photoshop.
Right, like you think Kate Middleton has the Adobe suite on her MacBook and is like tootling around in Photoshop.
Right, she has people for that.
She has people for that, and they probably wouldn't mess up.
Right.
So, but I guess they did, you know?
I guess.
And so then, like, what was the necessity for the photo? And for AP, the Associated Press, to put out a kill notice on that photo to say, like, this is doctored is huge. Because, like, they very rarely do that. But they were trying to make a statement that, like, something is up and we are not going to be complicit in, like, letting the palace use this as a tool to reassure people.
Right. What if she's just, like, not feeling herself? Like, she's just like, I need to go into hibernation. Maybe she's hibernating like the bears. Right.
Well, but honestly, like being very serious about mental health and, you know, eating disorder treatment, like if that is what this is, then I respect her privacy.
Absolutely.
You know? But it's still, I work in mental health treatment. Like if she were on board to make sure the British people weren't scared to death that she had been taken and disappeared, like she could probably make an appearance.
Totally.
Or just something.
Right.
Something.
Or even just like, and let me know if this has happened, but like a statement that portrays, or not portrays, but like that indicates that she is okay. Like even, I think it would be like powerful for her to speak out and like not in a way that corrupts her privacy, but in a way that's like, I'm just dealing with something personal right now. Like I would really appreciate your like acceptance and respect in this time. I'm okay.
That's what they tried to do with that photo. That was the statement alongside that photo pretty much.
Right, but why the photo? Why
to be like, I'm alive, look at me and my happy kids. But then
that makes it even weirder.
Right, but then the AP came back and was like, not for real.
Right.
So that's pretty crazy. Some other good theories are that she's on The Masked Singer.
Yeah. The first thing that I saw about like Kate Middleton and her disappearance was so vague. It was just like, and here we have Kate Middleton as the ladybug in The Masked Singer. And I was like, oh my God, no way. Like, that's crazy. She's on The Masked Singer. Like, I didn't think that she would stoop that low. Like, I had not heard about this rumor and like drama yet. And so I was like, oh my God, that's crazy that she's on The Masked Singer. How weird. And then I kept scrolling a little bit.
Can you imagine the queen would be rolling over in her newly dug grave?
Right. That's why I was like, oh man, that's kind of wild.
Yeah. Well,
which it would be, but it's fake. So
the other thing, so this week though, Obama touched down and was seen like at the prime minister's house or something. And like, Michelle probably was like, Barack, you got to go figure this out.
Right.
Go find Kate. What's going on?
Send her man to the rescue.
Yeah. Like if somebody's going to find her, it's going to be Barack Obama. So
1000%.
I hope he gets the job done over there. And seriously, I hope she's okay in that.
I know. It really is concerning. And like, that's the biggest thing. I mentioned that about like a statement of like a more legitimate one, if you will, because you would think if something wasn't wrong, that would probably be the answer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't think anyone trusts like a written statement anymore or like a tweet signed from her, because like what proof do we have that that's from her? Like it would have to be a video of her.
Right.
With like holding a newspaper with the date on it, being like, this is current.
A proclamation. But that's crazy. She's
like, a scratch away from being the Queen of England. Like, because Prince, what's his name? King Philip. Is that who we're talking about? King Charles.
King Charles
is on death's door with his own cancer.
Right.
But then I saw a funny joke that was like, although this won't be funny if this ages poorly, but for those who've seen Saltburn, did you see it?
I never watched it.
Okay, so me and Matt watched it, and it was all the buzz, whatever. We had no idea what to expect, and we were totally like, everyone was like, I'm shook over Saltburn. We weren't shook. We were just grossed out.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else to say, like, other than you can watch a movie, you won't be, I thought like my like world was going to be turned upside down No, it just had some like gross scenes.
Yeah.
Which like I hate gross things.
Yeah.
So
I'm not into ickiness.
I would recommend the Nickelodeon documentary over Saltburn. But it has, you know, a good cast that was a very interesting ensemble. If I was Sabrina Carpenter, aka Barry Keogh's girlfriend, I would not be his girlfriend anymore. Just, I know he's acting, but like it's giving the ick. What's my point? The point, sorry if you haven't seen Saltburn and wanted to, but like,
No, it's too late. Like,
this like peasant guy or just like schemy mastermind infiltrates this like very rich, almost royal family and then kills them all and then takes over the estate. And I saw like a meme or a joke that was like, Camilla almost completed her Saltburn plan.
oh no. Yeah, I really hope that doesn't age poorly.
Right, because like the queen has died, King Charles is not doing well, Kate is disappeared,
Is missing.
and like who does that leave? William. Like, we better watch his back if
Right.
he's not responsible for all of this, because Camilla might be coming for you, a la Saltburn.
Right. And Harry's like at the pub. on
Harry's
St.
in
Patrick's
America,
Day.
like under the watchful eye of the FBI. And they can't get him over here, which is
For sure.
good.
The thing about like Saltburn, like to me that is a Nickelodeon movie, because to me Timothy Chalamet is a Nickelodeon kid. I know he wasn't. Like
Well,
in any
Timothy
sense of the
Chalamet
word.
is not in that movie.
Oh, it's Jacob Elordi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet. Okay, Saltburn and what's it called?
Willy Wonka.
Well, that's his newest hit,
Yeah, yeah.
obvi.
Oh.
But no, where? Oh gosh.
Call Me by Your Name.
Yes, they're the same to me.
Oh, I haven't seen Call Me by Your Name, so I have no idea.
I have actually. It's quite a beautiful movie, but also kind of strange. Anyway,
Moving on, one thing I wanted to discuss that I haven't seen a lot of buzz about but was invited to participate in was a Spotify collab playlist. And, well, first we should start. You have a seasonal Spotify playlist that you invited
do.
me to or shared with me.
Yeah.
And Caitlyn is really good at playlist curation.
thank you so much. Like I've said it once, I'll say it again. It's the biggest compliment ever. I have a little bit of childhood trauma from like people making fun of my music, and by that I mean like a few people in high school just picked
buzz
on me.
off.
I know.
Douglas Anderson students.
I know. And like I love a show tune here and there, and like I was so scared people were gonna like hear my headphones like Wicked playing out of my headphones, which is so crazy because I went to a performing arts school where all the popular kids were musical theater majors.
I was about to say, I feel like you were in the right place for this. No?
Right. I don't know. It's like
The dance people are weird.
it's triggering for me. So, but anyway, thank you so much. I would say that I do curate a really boppin' playlist.
So yeah, that's going to be one of Caitlyn's many duties during wedding season, which we'll talk about momentarily, is playlist curation for our various events.
Mm-hmm.
We already have the bridal suite playlist going, which
Yes.
is called Bridal Suite Sparkle. But for more current times, what is your current playlist? What is it called and what's on it?
So I started curating what is it called? Sweet
Georgia Spring, I thought.
Sweet Georgia Spring, I think is
Or
what.
Peachy-
Sweet Peachy Spring. Here
Sweet
it is.
Peachy Spring.
And then my description for it is changing seasons in the South, because I came up with this one or started curating it while I was driving. Don't Spotify and drive, but that's where all my best ideas come from, mostly behind the wheel. And I was like driving on the back roads, if you will, of Atlanta. And by back roads, I mean like where all the ritzy, big, huge mansion houses are.
Yes, like Paces Ferry Road.
Paces Ferry Road,
Which
yes.
I also live on, but we live in an apartment, so.
Right. Just a different sector. But, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is reminding me of like going to school in Alabama and like the road trips I would take from Alabama, sometimes to either Atlanta or sometimes like Maddie and Liv's house in Mississippi. And it just reminded me of like, not country music because I'm not really into that, but like Taylor Swift, Red, Speak Now. I was listening to Speak Now in your car because Kelly has the Taylor's version CD in there because she doesn't have an aux cord because she's a loser.
Oh my God, my car's from 2012. Okay.
It's really old, but that's fun that you have that in there. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is all just giving like springtime in the South, particularly like at school. So that was what it was kind of inspired by, just like Georgia peach spring.
Cute. Well, we'll share it with the kitties.
Sure. Yeah.
On the page once
Definitely.
the pod's live. And you too can listen to Sweet Peachy Spring.
Yeah, but also included are some Eternal Sunshine bops, a lot of 1989, Fearless and Speak Now, a few OG Taylor Swifts in there, Picture to Burn, just some kind of, Rascal Flatts, Bless the Broken Road from the Hannah Montana movie. Okay, that's a good way to describe it. The Hannah Montana movie is the vibe.
Great movie. Great movie. Matt's never seen it because he was probably like 16 years old and a boy when it came out. So that'll be one of my projects this spring season, is forcing Matt to watch the Hannah Montana movie.
For sure.
I don't want to spend too much time on it, but in the discussion of spring and music, Eternal Sunshine, what do we think? Brief thoughts.
I love it. I know I saw this TikTok from Eli Rallo, and she was like skipping down the streets, and she was like, me, because I never drank the Ariana Haterade, and like can enjoy this new album in peace and not feel like I have to justify why. And I feel that, I'm not here to say that Ariana has been on her best behavior lately, but I can separate the art from the artist. And I mean, I still like her as an artist, so that's kind of a void point, but I really like the new album.
Love it. She also is in the Nickelodeon documentary that we just watched, because I forget that before she was a musician,
that was her thing,
or pop star, she was on Nickelodeon. That's like how she really got her big break.
Yeah, and she was on Broadway before that.
Well, that's what I was just about to say.
Sorry.
Being on Broadway, which was a big deal, but like less commercially famous.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, so she's up in this documentary too, and they kind of feature some things that were like really questionable that they made her do too.
Yeah.
But agree. Really like the album. It's one of those albums you can listen all the way through and you don't even realize that the song has changed.
Yes,
even
agreed.
though they like kind of distinctly do sound different too. Two of my favorites are We Can't Be Friends. Which I say all the time, just in my head about other people.
We can't be friends
because you're annoying or whatever.
Right.
And also Bye, which like I couldn't tell you the melody.
Bye.
Oh yeah.
Bye bye.
Yeah, great. So we're fans. No surprise. Pop music. We loved it.
Loving it.
But it's also very honest. Like there's so many parts in the songs or lyrics that are just clearly like her hurting.
Right.
Or like I very much felt the lyric where she said like, I wish I hated you more, about breaking up with presumably her husband. That like breaking up with someone that you don't hate is hard. I don't know about anything about that.
All your breakups have been a little bit tumultuous, and by all I mean that one.
Yeah, but like it wasn't all bad, you know? And
of course.
I can relate on that front of like you wish you could just like hate someone and be done with it, because that would probably make breaking up easier, but that's not how it goes sometimes. So
well, I've never been in like a romantic relationship, but like I can say that for like friendships too. Like it's hard when you're like you've had enough and you need to distance, but like you don't actively hate that person to where you want to like you wish them poorly.
Not like a big event, like a blowout or something. It's just like, yeah, we need to distance ourselves a little bit.
Definitely. So relatable, Ariana.
So I had started this with Spotify collab playlist. The only thing I really wanted to say, because we took a little divergence, which was good, is that that's a new feature. You can like invite someone to collab, and then it combines your musical tastes.
That's not new.
That's not new?
No, it's been around for years.
Oh. Okay, well, it's new to me.
I've been doing it for EVs.
Well, I didn't know you've never invited me to collab, probably because our playlist would look exactly the same.
Yeah, because we have all the same music.
Yeah, but my friend Grace invited me to collab, and I actually got some like new bops out of it. But then I also texted her and was like, hey, are you okay? Because there was some like George Strait and like Alan Jackson on her playlist. And like, yeah, she lives in Dallas, but like, what are you doing? And she was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Like I was going to the Fort Worth rodeo and was trying to get in the mood, but like I've been exposed.
She's in her yeehaw era.
She's not though. Okay, well, I learned that that's not a new feature.
Yeah, it was really cute. Actually, we did that in college with our roommates, and so whenever we were like, well, we had a few playlists, but like put something up on the TV for like collective listening, it was like our blended playlist. We're laughing because Matt is rustling tinfoil and other
Matt is trying to cook pork chops while we're trying to podcast. And I don't want him to hear me being a sourpuss in the other room.
Pork chops.
But who could hear over the tinfoil? So in this week's Kelly's nuptial news, we are 1 year to the wedding.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
Wow.
by the time you listen to this, it will probably be March 22nd of 2024. And the wedding date is March 22nd, 2025. So,
I know, like in a year from now, we're going to be in Florida.
yeah.
You've announced that, right? Like not officially, but...
Yeah, no, I've said it on this podcast.
Oh, okay,
The wedding's in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, we'll be in Florida and like preparing for your wedding. That's crazy.
Yeah, so a few things that have been running through my head this week. One, did I flub the wedding date? Because this pollen shit is everywhere.
Yeah.
And Matt was like fighting for his life last night. Presumably allergy related, unclear. Yeah. And like now I'm just worried, like, oh my God, is everyone going to be like sneezing and miserable?
Up on a rooftop.
Yeah, but hopefully, back to my previous point of like, I feel like there's less pollen in Florida because of the humidity.
Right.
So I'm going to lean on that point. Other thing I'm doing now that we're like right in the 1 year time frame. Well, this isn't really new, but I'm getting very serious about my beauty and skincare regimen. I've long been taking skincare seriously. I get monthly facials and have medical grade skincare products. I've done lasers. I've done microneedling.
Queen.
I've done all the things. So if you have questions about that, let your girl know. I got Dysport yesterday, which I've had before. Dysport is like another brand of Botox.
I was going to say, can you explain what that is? Because I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, so like Botox is a neurotoxin that it doesn't really prevent wrinkles, but it like prevents more from forming.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what Botox is. But Botox is just a brand name.
Right. Oh, okay. So it's like, can I take an Advil? But it's like...
Yeah.
Ibuprofen.
A different brand. So Dysport is just another brand. It's like the second most popular neurotoxin.
Okay.
Don't ask me how they really differ. I know that Botox is $1 a unit more expensive at the place I go to.
Okay.
But my previous physician's assistant, Ashley, that I used to do my aesthetic stuff in Jacksonville, also used Dysport or preferred that. So that's what we're going with. I did 40 units in my like crow's feet area, a little bit in my eyebrows, my forehead, and my chin.
Wow. Okay.
And my chin is the thing I'm really hoping to chill out a little bit because it's a very active chin and it has this like wrinkle that I've been doing literally everything to try to relax. But it's noticeable to me. So working on that.
I think it's less noticeable than you think it is.
Oh, for sure. But that's everything with like your face, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to be continuing to go for my monthly facials. The person doing my Dysport yesterday recommended I up the intensity of my peels.
Oh, that's scary.
It is scary because they kind of hurt like a bitch.
Right.
And then they make you peel on the back end, which like for us spray tan girlies, that's really problematic.
Yeah, for sure.
But I need to shrink these pores. So we got to do what we got to do.
On that note, I feel like my pores are enlarging. Just in general, and it's like grossing me out. If anybody has any like solutions that don't involve like hardcore chemical peels or really any like procedure that's like costs money, let me know, because
At home remedies.
Yeah, I would love to just like shrink the pores that seem to be opening up further, but I don't really think that facials are my journey right now.
Yeah, the thing with me is it's not so much enlarged pores as to me in certain areas they look stretched.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I need to get with Amber, my esthetician, to address that because your girl can't have stretched pores on her wedding day. The other thing I have to deal with is my extensions, which my hairdresser's name is also Amber, but they are two different people. Because I have these extensions, and for those who don't know me, I've had extensions since I was 16, so 13 years. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're not for length, they're just for volume and texture. And in the last year, I put in I went from micro beads, which are like the little pieces, like almost like individual hairs, not individual hairs, but like
clumps of hair,
little clumps of hair that like move around just like hair, and you can like put your hair in a ponytail, whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
It was kind of creepy, and Matt called them my snakes.
Yeah, because they would fall out and then they would look like little wormy snakes.
Exactly, and I had to carry like a plastic baggie full of to put my like loose hair in when it would fall out. Not great, but I've gone to wefts, which are more like big pieces of hair that are way easier, way cheaper to adjust, and like so the maintenance is cheaper and quicker. But you can't really put your hair up, which for me is typically not that much of a problem because like I'm not as much of a workout girly as I should be. But I think I want to wear my hair up for the wedding, so I got to figure that out.
Right,
because we might have to like chop them up.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh, that'll be such a change up.
I know.
After so many years. Yeah, but you'll have to consult other hair amber,
yeah. So
to see what
we
you
got to figure that one out.
May I just interrupt and just say how much I love, like, this might be stupid, and maybe I'm like over romanticizing and like, but I love like thinking of like your team. You know, like I have my team of people is like
Glam Squad.
Yeah, like it could be Glam Squad, but also it could be like your like career team, right? So like my voice teacher and my like 2 like dance mentors, like are part of my team, you know. Whereas like on the beauty side, it's like, well, here in Atlanta, I'm like Tracy at Gloss on my team. Amber also cut my hair recently on my team. Like I've got an Atlanta team now, and I love thinking about things that way, about like your team curation.
Yes, no, that's such a good point.
So who else is on your team? Like you've got,
and cultivating a great team is so important. That's very much how I feel right now about the wedding vendors.
Yes, totally.
Making sure I cultivate the like A++ team that I've always dreamed of, because you only do this once. But in regards to other people on my team, wow, what a great point and question and way to put that. I guess like for me, I mean, certainly I'm less of a student in the like work space. So like obviously I have my literal team at work.
Yeah. Besides that, more like of an extracurricular
team. Yeah. So most of mine is beauty and upkeep because I need a lot of help in that department.
Right.
So yeah, I've got my esthetician Amber, my hairdresser Amber, really the whole staff at Radiance Med Spa. I feel like they're on my team. They're great hype girls because like the one girl who does all the front desk stuff, like I talk to her all the time and I'm so embarrassed to say I don't know her name because she's always scheduling me with other people.
Right.
So I need to find that out. Who else is on my team? Tracy at Gloss doing my nails. I think I named them all
South
because
Beach Tan. That's just
Palm
more
Beach
of a machine.
Tan, booth number 6. They're a big part of my team. And I hope to expand my team as I run this journey. You know, the Orange Theory coaches hopefully will be part of my team soon. Who else? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's all I got right now.
Yeah, it's so interesting, like thinking about it in that way, and it's just like kind of fun and empowering.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Right?
It's not people I pay for these services, it's my team.
Right, exactly.
I'm feeling like Jen Shaw, like with the Shaw Squad.
The Shaw Squad, except she's in jail, so.
Right, so we don't want that.
But same energy, like,
well, so,
make yourself the main character.
Well, speaking of 2 people that are on my team, here's what they're doing right now. Because the other thing I'm obsessed with, so many things, but is figuring out where the sun is going to be in relation to our venue a year from like this week, and like specifically Friday, the day of our wedding. But the reason it's important is because we're getting married on a rooftop. There's a bunch of buildings downtown, but it's the building that the roof is on is oriented into the setting sun, so facing west. So the sun will be setting, presumably in the evening, possibly in the eyes of our guests, depending on what time the wedding is.
Incredible.
No, that's bad.
I know.
So
I was being sarcastic.
Matt and I have been to a wedding where we were sitting into the sun,
right,
and we couldn't see anything. because we were blinded the whole time.
Yeah.
And or you could wear sunglasses, but like I don't really want a bunch of people in like evening gowns and tuxedos and sunglasses at my wedding.
You could provide everyone little parasols.
That doesn't help. Like that doesn't help looking into the sun.
Right.
That's just like honestly, that doesn't help at all because the sun won't be behind them; it'll be in front of them.
Okay.
So the point is,
an idea.
Thank you. It's cute. The point is that my team today is Lisa, my wedding planner, and my friend Brian, who I work with. They are meeting at my venue and meeting our venue coordinator, Robin, to go up to the roof at 5:00 and figure out where the sun is. Yeah. And if it's blinding then, or if it will be better at 5:30, or if it will be better at 6, so that we can determine the start time of the ceremony based on where the sun placement is behind or in front of these buildings, because I will not have blinded guests.
Yeah, well, shout out to your team of meteorologists today.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, well, what if it's different based on the time of year? But that's the thing. You are really thinking ahead because it's literally almost to the day.
It had to be this week. That's the thing. Like doing this 6 months from now won't help at all.
Right.
So that's how I was like, hi team, we have to get you there this week.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for those spending their time to make that happen for me, because we couldn't be in Florida this week because of work. But they're doing it for us. So shout out to Lisa, Brian, and Robin.
That's so fabulous. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Okay. So I know you wanted to... Oh, wait, no. You covered that. I was going to say you mentioned something about your extensions. Speaking of wedding tings, you've got kind of an exciting thing to look forward to coming up that you've recently solidified.
Well, it depends who you ask regarding their excitement about this. But
if it's Matt, maybe a little bit less so than everyone else.
Yeah. So we are getting engagement photos done in April in Florida when we're there for another wedding. So we're looking forward to that, trying to figure out where we're going to do that and what I'm going to wear and all that. And then we're also getting engagement photos done in Paris the following week when we're there to celebrate my birthday. And Matt, I think, would rather do anything else than have his picture taken 2 weekends in a row. But it's marriage, it's compromise.
Right, definitely. Would you like me to make you a Spring in Paris playlist?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I will do that. It will definitely include...
It's going to be the Emily in Paris soundtrack, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, Ashley Park's rendition of... her original song for Emily in Paris. I forget what it's called.
Mon Chéri.
Mon Chéri, bon soir.
Right.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, no. I have some ideas.
Okay, great. Yeah,
I'll get started on that, and I'll enjoy that as well.
Speaking
that's
of...
crazy.
Spring travel, you are about to wrap up your time here in Atlanta and make the big return to the Big Apple.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. I'm having so much fun at Camp Kelly, and I'm so well fed and entertained, and I just am sad for it to come to an end. Also, I get to like perform and doing what I love, so that's a plus too. But I'm excited to go back to New York because it's as you reminded me, it's a beautiful time to be there. Spring in New York is lovely. It's like the perfect weather, and one of my BFFs has moved there. I don't want to say permanently, but for the foreseeable future, actually to Hoboken. So that's
great.
Really exciting. Fun times ahead. And I've got a big audition coming up.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
Sending good vibes to Caitlyn.
Thank you. So it's kind of right as we wrap up here, I need to kind of scurry back to New York because that is happening at the very beginning of April. So yeah, lots to look forward to, but it's sad to wrap up my time here because it's kind of been, besides that month break that I had in January, I've been here since like November.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of been my life for
I know the house is going to be so quiet without you.
Yeah.
Banging around your Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
With all the ice.
My big dumb cup.
Your big dumb cup. Well, we'll miss you very much, but all good things must come to an end.
Oh,
and
stop. You can't say that without me thinking of Len Goodman.
Oh, not Len. Anyway, all good things must come to an end, and, there are so many opportunities abound in New York, and that's why you moved there in the first place.
Totally.
So you got to go chase those dreams.
Totally. And don't get me wrong, I am so thrilled and so excited, but it's been a new experience living with you. We've never done that before, besides when I was like 12 and you were like an angsty teen in high school.
I was never an angsty teen.
Well, everyone's an angsty teen if they're
not
between
me.
the ages
I was not
of
angsty.
14 and 18.
I was just busy.
Okay. Well, it's been fun, and I'm just having a lot of fun here. So sad, but exciting.
Yes. Yay. Well, we cannot wait to cheer you on in your next adventure.
Thank you.
Really, all good vibes being sent forth up to New York for the auditions ahead. I'm really excited about them, and I'm not participating, but I know you will be amazing. And, you know, I have no doubt you'll make your way back here as well at some point.
Definitely.
Whether to visit or to work.
Somehow.
Some way, somehow. Exactly. I'm going to miss the fact that, like, I've been ordering all sorts of things from Revolve for these engagement photos, for my friend John's wedding, for so many things. And while I appreciate Matt's feedback, it's not quite the same as your feedback. And I won't have anyone to do my fashion shows for. I
know. Well, FaceTime is just a click away, but it's really not the same.
It's not the same, fit and all that. But on just a positive note, I wanted to shout out Revolve, who like probably doesn't need any shout outs, but
right. Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us. Their customer service is so good. Like, first of all, they just handle it from beginning to end. Like, when you order from Revolve, they send you the mailing label back in the box. It's ready to go, and peel and stick on the box to return.
Right.
All you have to do is drop it off. But if that doesn't work for you, you can do Happy Returns. And I've plugged Happy Returns here before. But with Happy Returns, you just have to generate a QR code. You bring it into a Happy Returns drop, which for me, the closest one is the UPS store, literally right across the street. And then they refund you within 1 business day.
Wow.
1 business day. Today, I was doing an exchange in addition to a hefty return, and my QR code wasn't populating. I called their phone number. It rang immediately. I dialed through the prompts, immediately rang to a lovely woman named Carla, who clearly was not in like an international call center, but like probably here, and with perfect English and being super helpful, was able to address my issue very quickly, was very friendly, and said, "Oh, I just emailed you the QR code that you need. Is there anything else I can help you with?" Just the opportunity to like call a customer service number and speak to a person is so rare these days.
Yeah.
Especially a person who knows what they're doing and is helpful. Like
at American Airlines.
Right. At American Airlines. The bar is on the floor.
Right.
But like Revolve really does take great care of their customers. Shipping is fast. I've never had a bad Revolve experience. And like if whatever you ordered didn't work for you, as 9 out of the 10 items I ordered didn't.
Right.
It's so easy to return them and get your money back. And they encourage me to keep ordering, for better or for worse, because they make it so easy.
Right. And it's like, Revolve isn't cheap. It's like they're a more high-end vendor, I would say. But because of this, it makes people more likely to order and keep ordering. People such as yourself, especially, who are constantly shopping for special occasions, such as wedding festivities. So I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Happy for Happy Returns.
Thank you. I don't know if you recall this. I don't know if it was from last week or 2 weeks ago, but a Savage Says listener actually just texted me and said, listening to last week's Savage Says, and the drink you're looking for is a French martini, LOL. Which, if you recalled, we were talking about my former boss's signature wedding cocktail, and it being framboise, which is raspberry liqueur, and what I thought was vodka and pineapple juice.
A French martini. I was thinking French 75.
Well, what I was calling it in equal parts, which like I think that's maybe just like what their like silly name for was it?
Oh, okay.
Or it was, but our listener here just said that's a French martini.
Oh, okay. There you have it.
There you have it.
Maybe we'll include in our Savage Says cocktail special whenever that happens, because I'm leaving next week. So we gotta act fast if we're gonna do that.
Well, we also have all the ingredients for springtime spritz.
Yeah, so that was a funny story that I won't get into, but I was gonna make springtime spritzes for everybody pre-dinner, and then Kelly and I got in a squabble, so I locked myself in my room and I didn't make the spritzes.
So of course nobody got spritzes.
Yeah, don't be mean.
Okay, well the laundry in question was yours, so.
Okay, we're not going to talk about it here on this podcast.
Okay, well it's almost 5 o'clock, so I feel like that is an optimal spritz time, and you don't have to go to work until 7:30. So do with that what you will.
On to the kitchen. Yeah, well, I also need a peanut butter egg immediately, so we're gonna go. But I hope you enjoyed this little
springtime blitz with the springtime spritz.
Springtime blitz. I interrupted. I'm sorry. Springtime blitz with the springtime spritz. I love it.
Cute. Yeah.
Well, until next time, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you haven't yet, catch up on all of the recent episodes that we've dropped. We're up to 18 episodes now.
Wow. 18 weeks? How many months is that?
I don't know, but we started in October.
We're bad at math.
Yeah.
All right. Well, toodles, kitties. Hope you have a wonderful new season of spring. I'll report back on the findings regarding the sun.
Yes, please do.
Next week. And hope you have an amazing weekend, since we're reporting to you live on Thursday now.
Yeah, it's just right. It's just right.
It just adds up, like our wedding date, 3/22/25.
And on that note,
bye.
Bye.